My name is Sudarshan Chitre. In this demo, I'm going to walk you through a few of the capabilities of the KenSci Analytics platform today. What the KenSci Analytics platform is, it's a set of value-add services that are built on Azure with the goal to accelerate building of BI and AI solutions for healthcare. It's the same platform that is used by all of KenSci's solution portfolio. And because it's a white box platform, it's an open platform. We also allow our customers or encourage our customers to build their own solutions in house using the KenSci platform. And so today I'm going to show you both of those things, and especially focusing on the real time data pipeline and the real time analytics part of the capabilities. Before we get into that, here's a quick bird's eye view of what the platform logically looks like. So the things to focus here is on the left hand side are all the data sources that you're interested in, and typically these are the EMR data, but it could be other data coming from various other sources as well, because the platform is built with the intention to maximize getting data. The more data you have, the more different kinds of data you have, the better your ML is. And so the platform is built with the intention to be able to bring in data from various different data sources. So on the left hand side is the data, on the right hand side is your goal. Are the solutions that you're looking to build. That's your goal. And everything that happens in the middle is essentially the KenSci platform built on top of Azure using several of Azure PaaS services to accelerate the building of those solutions. So let me show you a couple things here. So when we deploy a instance of a KenSci platform for a customer, uh, what uh, what we do is we set up the whole architecture, the value add services on an Azure, within an Azure subscription, and then out of the box you have this endpoint which we call the KenSci portal. That endpoint is a web portal that is available to visualize or to access all the reports that you would build. And this is, for example, here's one example of such a solution that is built and hosted within this portal, and this is a patient roster. So think of an hospital system that has several facilities and lots of patients that are within their hospital system in different stages. And this list here is essentially a list of all the patients that are currently in the system. And this is an embedded Power BI report that is embedded within the KenSci portal. And the portal is makes it easy for our customers to have one pane of glass to access. But the same exact report could be accessed through Power BI Online, it could be accessed through Teams, or the same data could be accessed through an API, could be accessed through a mobile app and so on, or plugged into an EMR system again. But this is just one of the ways that somebody could leverage an ML AI solution within KenSci's platform. So here what we are looking at is a roster of patients that are admitted within this hospital system. What we are going to do in this demo is we're going to use a scenario which is to where we will admit a patient, and this is something that happens all the time within a hospital system. It's a very common scenario with respect to patients, but you could think about any other event that happens within this system, like admitting a patient, discharging, moving them around, administering a test, and so on. So the same principles will apply. In this case, we're going to look at admitting a patient and see how the system is built to respond in real time and provide real time analytics on top of that event. Uh, to do that, I'm going to use a system which is an open source EMR that we have installed here in this sandbox. This is I'm plugged into its backend. It's a mumps database, which is a pretty old technology, but it is a very widely used backend for a lot of the popular EMR systems. And so here I'm going to use their command line menu interface to go through the workflow that a typical um, nurse or someone admitting a patient would go through. And so here I'm going to pick a patient, let's say Karen Smith, and I'm going to go through the set of things that I need to do. Looks like this patient is probably already admitted. Okay, so let me pick another patient here. Let's see, Robert Smith, and okay, cool. So let's admit Robert Smith uh, into the system and answer some of these questions that are pretty standard, but uh, not really relevant to the KenSci platform, but gives you an indication of the workflow that somebody would have to go through either through screens in a UI or through command line in the process of admitting a patient. And what we're going to see is once this is done, so this is simulating somebody admitting Robert to this particular hospital system, and I'm going to assign a bed. I'm going to put in some standard information around who is the physician here, and once we have gone through that, I'm going to show you what happens. So okay, let's say the condition is seriously ill. So in this case, what's happened is that um, Robert has been admitted into this hospital, and here you see a couple of HL7 ADD messages were fired by the CMR. And then what is going to happen is they are going to make their way through the system here, picked up by the agent, go through Azure Service Bus. All the parsers will get triggered that are listening on events coming through the system. They'll do different activities and different parsing activities on this, and convert the data into a relational form, into standard data models. Also fire ML models on top of this event, and then make the data available to be consumed and visualized through Power BI in the portal. So if all of that has worked well, we should, when we refresh the system, then we should see that the roster has increased by 1. Here, let me refresh this Power BI report, and we should see 3775 here. So there's one more patient that has been admitted here, and if you see right here, Robert Smith is showing up as a new patient admitted roughly around the time that I'm running. I'm not running it to him. This is in um, not my time zone, but this was a 3 West is where we picked as the unit. But one more thing, what has happened here, if you look at the predicted length of stay column, is we have also run a machine learning model on top of this event on demand instantly, and predicted that this patient is going to stay for 7 days. And not only have we run this model, but we also run an explainability model on top of this to demonstrate why we think this patient is going to be here for 7 days, and then what is that a prolonged length of stay is and when is what are the features that are factoring into that prediction. That is just an example to show that we can plug in models in the workflow. So think about this was just the length of stay prediction, but you could have all kinds of predictions happening, uh, uh, reacting to various things happening within the EMR systems 24/7. And this backbone allows for solutions to be built that are real time. So just to kind of exercise this and demonstrate that it is built on, since it is built on Azure services that are inherently scalable, um, what we can do with one admit, we are able to do with as many admits as can happen in an hospital system. So one of the thing I'm going to do here is use this tool here called HL7 Spy, which is to simulate a set of admits. What I did typing there for a couple minutes clumsily to admit one patient, I'm going to simulate 20 admits here, um, uh, which made up names and dates, etc., to push into the system. And so I'm going to just click this, and this just simulated and sent 20 messages through the system the same way as we did one. And so at this point, all of these admits will go through the system. and in real time will be picked up by all the parsers, all the models, all of this exact same thing that happened with Robert Smith will happen with those uh, 20 admits, and then within a few seconds, it's not a large number. Uh, these 20 more admits have made their way through all of those systems into to be displayed by this roster. So the point being that the system is built for scale using the Azure PaaS services that are built to handle large amounts of events per second, and the rest of the system architecture is built in such a way that we can handle you know very easily scale horizontally as much as needed, depending on what the activity level is. Now, like I said, you could use this to build a Power BI report showing up in a web portal, or you could use the exact same results consumed through a mobile app or any other means that makes sense, or trigger notifications to other applications. The idea is that the fundamental building blocks of understanding healthcare messages, parsing them in the right way, semantically breaking them down, and being able to host and run models and combine the data and the model results together in the right shape to make them available for applications to be built is what we are doing to accelerate building of these applications. In the next section of this demo, I'm going to show how the architecture is open, and how what we did is something that our customers can also very easily do by using the exact same underlying platform capabilities. So in this scenario, what I'm going to show is, if the data is already sitting in some relational store in a standard format, whether it is common data model or FHIR, how can we quickly build reports on top of it, custom reports, and use the same scaffolding and the platform capabilities to quickly build other solutions that may be of interest. Um, and so whether it is common data model or FHIR, and I'm going to show you uh, by logging into a VM that is part of this deployment. So as part of setting up the architecture, we also uh, provide access to virtual machines within the architecture that our data analysts uh, from our customer team can can log in and plug into the data sitting in the data stores, and do the exact same thing that we did with building that particular tool that I demonstrated. So let's go in there and try to build a report and see how what that experience looks like. So this is back here. I'm in a VM that is in that Azure deployment, the demo instance, and I'm going to open up Power BI here, and I won't build anything too involved here because of the time we have, but I'm going to show you the general approach. So this is a VM that is in our architecture that a customer data analyst is logged into, and here we are going to connect to the exact same data sources that uh, the tool you just saw connected to. So here I'm going to pick the one of the data views that is being populated the by the pipeline as it is processing the data. So I'll wait for this to come up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this simple. I'm going to add something very similar to what we were seeing in that huddle tool. I'm going to in that roster tool. I'm going to add patients from within this view that I pulled in from KenSci's platform into this Power BI developer experience, and I'm going to start to build a custom report where I want to show uh, age, let's say patient ID, uh, name, age, let's say what else we would add. How about we add a facility that they are in? We will let's add about the the model prediction itself that we were showing. So we'll show what is the length of stay prediction and so on. As let's add a couple other things here that could be interesting. Uh, let me pick. Let's see. Let me pick an interesting view here that could be interesting to see. Um, how about a funnel or let's see. And so let's say we want to show a facility view in a different kind of a map. Let's say this way. We wanted to show a facility grouping and use patient IDs as values here to show how many patients are in what facilities. And so we very quickly created a visualization here that shows how many patients are in what facilities in this. And then let's say we want to not show the ones where we don't have the facility name. So we're going to just kind of, let's say, remove the ones that are blank and go back here. And let's say we also want to add another graph here. Didn't mean to didn't mean to do that. Okay. So let's say we yeah, there you go. We had these two things here, and let's say we wanted to add one more um, here of axis is age bracket here. Let's say we want to see how many patients by age bracket are in various facilities. So let's say that's what we were trying to do here. So what I can do very quickly is build this kind of a report on the exact same data that's flowing through the platform. And let me quickly save this and go in here. Let me save this as you can see, I've done this a few times, different reports every time. So I've saved this as a PBIX file. Now I can go to the portal, the KenSci portal, and then I can go in here, and there is an experience where I can go and do the upload this particular report that I just created. So I can go into reports, go into publish a new report, pick the one that I just created, right in through the VM, select where I want to see it, and let's say I want to I call it version 11, and I publish it. What this is doing is this is taking this report, uh, publishing it into Power BI Online, creating an embedded link right into the portal in a secure manner, and now I can go in and um, add that report to my visualization here, and um, running through these clicks here. But the interesting part is that you are able to go from a development experience where you just created a report in Power BI to an fully secure portal that is only allows the appropriate users that you want to access this report that I just created. So the report that I just created in Power BI here is now ready to be consumed by the organization. So the data analyst who has not only access to real-time data in standard formats, which can be consumed through standard tools, but it's also able to then take the results of it and very quickly make it available to the organization. And that end-to-end productivity gains we believe are really um, valuable and saves a lot of the time that is spent in just getting the basics, working through the basics. Uh, I won't go through the experience, but if similarly, you can also connect to the fire service, which where we also land the data as part of the KenSci platform. And so here there is a Azure API for Fire, a PaaS service that is part of the KenSci platform that you can connect to from your Power BI and bring in some of these resources as well, right from within your within the data pipelines. So going back to this picture here, what we saw was the data on the left hand side through the standard interfaces is now suddenly made available in interesting ways, and it's really unlocked, as we like to call it. The data is instead of being sitting here in some cryptic messages that are flowing through, or some other data warehouse, it is really unlocked with the power of Azure and some of the semantic parsing to then build a whole lot of applications on top. So today we'll just kind of focus on those two, and hopefully see you again in some other demo to talk about some of the other capabilities of the platform as well. So thank you.